I might say some shit today.
Oh, that's sweet.
Right.
Good for the clickbait.
Yeah, prostate exam.
Mm.
I think you should hear this.
Welcome to I Think You Should Hear This, a podcast exploring people's journeys of adversity, growth, and self-discovery.
As we smile like this.
As we smile through it, smile through the pain. So today I have with me Shalom Kar. Thank you very much for joining me.
Look, I mean, what a terrible place to do it.
Yes, I couldn't think of anywhere worse to record.
Let's do it.
But here we are. So Shalom and I, only a week or so ago in Darwin through Jack Russell, we had, that's his name. we had a great chat and I thought, my God, you have a brilliant story of adversity, self-discovery, growth that I think you should hear. So here we are. Thanks heaps for joining.
But also you provide like a really nice space to be able to tell a story. Not that I need it, but also to just give that story to anyone. It's a precious story. All of our stories are precious, so you provide that space to be able to do it.
Yeah, well, thank you. Well, thanks for being willing enough to share it to whoever's listening. Yeah. So you do a few very interesting different things around Darwin in the comedy space, TV, music, men's hiking groups now, men's walk. So he's a man of many talents. I would love to hear about the start for you though, where it started. So you're living in Darwin now, not born here.
Yeah.
Where were you born? And we'll start from the start. We'll
No,
start from the start. Where did it come through? You're obviously you're the purple plastic Maori, which tells me that you're not Australian. So
I mean, I'm a Mozzie, Maori Aussie. That was 1975, so 50 years ago. I was like, it was a great time to be born, but we were born in a period of time where my culture was trying to figure out how do we regain our culture back. But it was also a beautiful space to be born in. I lived in a very white country. I don't think lots of people know that about New Zealand. It particularly was a very white country for most of the 20th century. Since they arrived, to be honest, our population went down anyway. So I was born into that era, and through the 80s, we're trying to figure out as a people how to regain ourselves. But I was born into that space, and I didn't look Maori. I looked like my Chinese cousins. I literally have Chinese cousins whose mum is from Singapore, and I got called chink all the time, which I just resented because we didn't own a laundry. But sorry. But if we did, that would have been great. But and I was clearly different from the other kids. So I grew up. When I was 5 and went to school, I kind of knew very succinctly that this life is going to be very different for me. Given culture, our country at the time in New Zealand, the politics, sexual equality, and all that, I understood that sexually there was something different as well. And we were entertainers and Jehovah's Witnesses. Wasn't the cocktail that I think you normally get, but that was in my head at least at the time.
How did you know that you were different sexually at 5 or at a young age? What was the first this is different?
I liked Wonder Woman. My brother liked the 18. Also, he would watch the Bionic Man. I would watch the Bionic Woman. If you're old enough, you'll Google that. If you're not, Google that. But I just I knew from the age of 2 that sexually I was different. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know how it would manifest, but I gravitated towards the girls. I was slightly effeminate as a kid. I liked the girl things at school. And the other thing that was succinct about understanding that was the way that boys treated me. They would call it, "You're a pufta." I think that was probably the biggest thing. I don't think I've actually said that out loud before. I've never said, so it was really what I heard other people tell me. They told me I was different.
So you didn't, were they affirming a belief, or you're like, oh, that's what I am because they said so?
I have to say, yes, they were now. I haven't really thought, I've never said that until I just spoke to you. But when I think about it, if a kid's born now being either, slightly less masculine or effeminate, or whoever they are physically or just intrinsically, there's not a hell of a lot of questions as much as there was back in 1975, 6, 7, 8, 9 in the 80s. But yeah, certainly the rest of the world didn't show a version of me even at that age, and even at like the age of 3 or 4, if I crossed my legs, my auntie would call me a poof.
Because like it's a bad thing.
It wasn't what boys do. They don't cross their legs. They don't do this. I mean, I was limp in both wrists, and that was not what boys did. I didn't play with dolls, didn't do all that stuff, but they were clearly just little things, and they made up a whole big thing that people then, felt of its time to talk about.
How is that? What's the right word? How does that transfer over to you don't feel safe, like being yourself in front of your family or people because it's not accepted? How does that transfer when you do have an issue and you are already been shut down for who you are, and you go, all right, Mum, this is going on. My auntie, like this is going on. I need your support. And you like, do you feel, how does that transfer? Because if you're already being told that how you are is not right, and then if you have an issue, how do you then bring that up with someone else if you're already being shut down?
You don't. It's the 1980s and the 90s. You just don't. And because I was Jehovah's Witness, it was just not a part of like sexuality, like being gay particularly, was not part of who you could be in that religion. Culturally, it was sort of okay, but so long as it's not your son. I mean, they were good with all the lesbians in our family. But if they had a gay son, let's not go there. Having said that, I felt safe at home all the time. All the time. Being home was a safe place to fall. So long as I didn't transfer that and identify it. It did manifest itself in my teens. That's what I had to. I was pubescent at 10, which wasn't a good part of the cocktail. When you have what I call sexuality tension, it becomes sexual tension. I've never said that before either. But now it makes sense. The tension I had about my sexuality became sexual because you have to suppress all of it in that world back in that period of history. And it just manifests itself when you can get it. We didn't have porn. Well, it was a video cassette or it was a magazine. Cleo magazine was the centerfold. Jack Thompson, thank you very much, was, I could steal that from the doctors. And me and many other boys did. And I think only boys stole Cleo magazine. You ever had Cleo magazine? You've never seen Cleo?
I know of it. I know Jack Thompson as the like Aussie dude with a beard and he's old.
No, he was...
Back then,
Burt Reynolds was in it as well, and he was a very hirsute man. I used to like hirsute. Anyway, we're getting off topic. But back then, so it manifested, you had to be very clever about how you could like try and get rid of that tension. But then I got puberty at 10, and then suddenly it was, how do I suppress all this? I'm now 10. All the other boys are 13, 12 when they got puberty. No, not me. I'm 10 years old. I feel like God or whoever was like, here's another one. Have this at 10 years old. So I didn't transfer it in my formative years or in my teen years publicly. There were ways I transferred it for me personally and did things in a clandestine fashion. Had to.
That's probably going to get blown over by the wind. It's hard because like you said, you have no way to express it because you have to, or like publicly. Yeah, publicly. And what most boys do when they have something built up like that is sport. Go tackle other guys in tight clothes.
See, if I'd have known this, no, I was even too scared because when you are accused of being gay or being a poofter back then, the slightest bit of evidence you give someone, then makes it worse. So if I touched someone else in class, or if I was in footy, and people knew that I was a poofter, even if they thought I was anyway, then it would make it worse. So I just did not do anything like that. I did not engage in anything that made me get close to another male for fear of accusation.
Yeah. That's understandable. I can definitely see how kids could make that seem that way. Oh, you tackled him because you're gay, and you're doing the exact same thing as someone else.
Adults as well.
Yeah, true.
I mean, these kids didn't learn it from, the children's books. They didn't learn to have that dialogue. They learned that from, I don't know, probably home. I talked about this in my cabaret show, Purple Plastic Maori, and I said it in August this year. If I don't have kids, but if you're raising kids and your kids want to say something like that because they've learned it from you, if they learn it from you, just stop that. Was it? I believed it as a kid. I believed that what I was doing was wrong. I believed, and you can have your own beliefs, that's fine. But just, if I'm not hurting you, just don't do that. We live in a different world and it's great. But it wasn't like that in the 80s.
Yeah, it's still like that now. Like you look at the labels we put on people, and because of that label, they're right or wrong or bad. With everything that's going on in Australia, around the world, with depending on what race or religion you are, feel like have some sort of hate towards Jewish people. And or if you're on the other side, that means you're anti-Muslim.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they're human. Like, I don't get how you can be like anti this, pro that. At the end of the day, if you're picking one side, that means you're like letting out the other. Just remember that we're all people.
But people can have opinions. If they want to sanction somebody else, then that's the step too far.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
If the person's beliefs and their belief system, if they're Catholic, if they're Muslim, and they're going to worship and use their culture in their own private way, then that should be fine. I mean, my name is Shalom. I have the most Jewish name ever. Like, that was another thing that I didn't probably need, but I love my name. I love having that name. That name means peace. And I love that my parents decided that that was going to be the name that I should have for the rest of my life. But being Jewish, I got billeted out with a Jewish family once in Wellington on a school trip. And she looked straight past me thinking that I can't be the child that she's getting because they're expecting a Jewish kid.
Yeah.
It's just like Mrs. Lever. She's just like, I'm the only kid left. I was 8 years old. And I remember this is just another thing that I don't need to feel like I'm the, the outcast. Mrs. Lever. And the whole week I stayed with her. She housed me. She was lovely. Her son Arnon was beautiful. But it was an awkward moment that, so it's interesting. I've got sort of the two sides of that story. And she was, don't get me wrong, she was lovely and she was very generous. But was a moment for an 8-year-old to go, this woman's looking straight through me. For someone with something like cap on their head.
Yeah.
I didn't have the cap. I don't know what they call it. Just like
yarmulke.
Okay. my name is no. I got sent for a doctor's for what do you call it? Women get their babies.
Ultrasound.
Oh, thank you. And
I'm getting one in a few days. I think it's a boy.
Hope so. With all the blue clothes you bought. The doctor sent me from northwest Melbourne to southeast Inkerman Street, actually, Balaclava, which was at that time a heavy Jewish community. They had a kosher McDonald's at the time, and the lady that she said, "What's your name?" I said, "Shalom." She said, "No, what's your name?" I said, "Shalom." She goes, "Show me your Medicare card." So I showed my Medicare card. She said, "Oh, your name is right. Do you know where you are?" I said, "No, but people dress funny." She said, "This is a Jewish community." I said, "Huh, that makes sense." She said, "Why have you come here?" I said, "My doctor said to come here." She says, "I think he's having a Lent because your name is Shalom." So when I got back to the doctor in East Keilor, and I said, and I walked through the door and he said, "How is Inkerman Street?" I said, but fun. It was a fun story to tell, but yeah. Anyway, I got off track this thing, but that's as far as Jewish I get.
Yeah. So Inkerman Street is not in New Zealand. Were you born here? Born there?
Born in New Zealand, place called Gisborne, which used to be the first city in the world to see the sun. They changed the international date line. I was born there, but then quickly stolen by my grandmother. She took me to the South Island, where I almost died of pleurisy at 2 weeks old. It's freezing cold down there. And
I've been.
She was near in a place called Clyde, near Wanaka, Alexandra. And then was before the internet, so Mum and Dad had to come and find me. They got in a car and just drove to try and find me, and had to move towns just to figure out how.
So, hold on. Why did your grandmother take you to
My mother was
near Wanaka?
My mother was 20. My dad was 19, and my grandmother had just decided that my mother wasn't fit enough to have a child.
Her mum or his mum?
Her mother-in-law.
Okay.
Yeah, in fact, my father's stepmother. And she ruled the roost.
Yes.
She was only 15 years older than my dad. She used to be my dad's babysitter. She was betrothed to my grandfather. I could go too far into this story.
Yeah,
It's a saga.
Yeah,
But and then Dad was a shearer and a musician, so we kind of just moved. And we've always been vagrants, moved from town to town. We settled in a place called Clinton, in between Dunedin and Invercargill, and we're part of the Gore Country Music Club, which is the sister city to Tamworth. And I grew up around music. Dad wanted to have a band. He was 19 when I was born. By the time I was 2, he had a bush band called the Bo Yang Bush Band, and then a band called Mixed Feelings, which comprised of all of his brothers, sisters, and cousins.
100 people in the band.
You'd think only 8.
Yeah.
And they were like literally my uncle, my uncle's wife, my 2 aunties, and 2 of my dad's cousins who weren't really cousins, but it's Maori.
Guys, yeah.
So I grew up around that. And then every year we sort of, at least once or twice a year, we moved to another place to follow work. So I went to 13 schools during my scholastic period. One of them twice. When I went back to the original school the first time, they also then just clerically forgot that I didn't have a year 3 and put me in year 4.
Oh,
I went from
right.
year 2 to year 4.
Yeah, damn.
Which is called Standard 2 back then in the 1980s.
Yeah.
So I had a very short scholastic life.
So 13 schools in like 11, 12 years.
Yes.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah, that's cool. So, all right, moved to lots of places. Your step nan tried to steal you. I'm starting to see how you could be a great showman because you're constantly reinventing yourself and like meeting new people and having to adapt to different scenarios.
I never thought of it that way. Ever.
Well, that's what I'm picking up. So, and you've moved around a lot since the school period.
When I moved to Gisborne at 8, which was then it was school number 9 and 10. We'd lived in Southland, which have a Scottish Cornish accent. And so all the rivers have got burns. And if you want to know if they're from that area, you have to ask them to say dirty purple work shirt. And if they say dirty purple work shirt, that's how I spoke as a child. All the rivers have got burns, everything's Scottish and Cornish. Moved to Gisborne, where it's like every Maori film you've ever seen, like Boy and right, all of those. And they all talk through their teeth. Well, what are you doing at the mig? And this one boy came up to me in the park a weekend and said, "Where you fellas from?" And I said, "We're from Southland." He says, "Where's that?" I said, "Down near Invercargill." He says, "What type of money do you have down there?" He thought we were from a different country.
Yeah.
He says, "It's the same country." He said, and he was going to bash us.
Yeah.
So I like changed our accent in a day.
Yeah.
Had this Maori accent the next day. Yeah. So I think you're right. We just adapted to wherever we were.
Yeah.
Had to, I guess.
When did you start transferring that into a skill that was like getting you somewhere in school?
Right then and there.
Yeah.
Intermediate, which is like middle school. I was doing performance at school. I won the speeches. It was a comedy routine. I didn't think it was a comedy routine, but I just did this comedy routine in Form 3, which is like year 10 or year 8, sorry. And then I won it. And I don't even know how I won it, but I was funny. The only way that I could feel like I could fit in was to be funny.
To fit in, you have to stand out.
Such a dichotomy now. Or paradox, I should say. But yes, the only way to fit in was to be funny. And in those moments where I was very funny, which was a lot, and I didn't know it was funny, I was just trying to figure that out. I could sing too, but then...
I'm sure if you're in like a very Maori place, everyone can sing.
Pronunciation, by the way.
Yeah, everyone can sing, right? I don't know. I've not met one person that can't sing, one Maori person that can't sing, or some like any islander, they all can sing.
Miles. I met him recently. Miles, who lives here, cannot sing. He's like the Oprah Winfrey of Māori people. Cannot sing.
Yeah, right.
He told me too, and he's in my "All I for Christmas Is You" video at Sweethearts, and he cannot sing. Bless him. That's okay.
But we all know what it's like to not.
My dad said to me, "It's not about being able to sing. It's being around music, and culturally." Our culture, we were invaded, I'll say that out loud, in the 18th century. And our communities our culture was song, religion, food, hunting, gathering, all of that was part of life. Music was part of life, wasn't separate. But if you go back to Scottish communities, Welsh communities, any community in Europe, it was the same thing. And urbanization changed that. But but you can go, all the Welsh can sing. They sing because they're close to their community roots still. And and my theory is that's why people say we can all sing. We're just around it all the time. If you are, I mean, the reality is live African men can win marathons because they're of that culture. That's a different thing because Amazonian pygmies will not win the marathon. That's a very different physical thing. So when you're around music, everybody can achieve music. Everyone.
I think they still have a genetic predisposition to be better at singing.
Miles?
Well, yeah, there's allies.
No, it's Midas. Right? It's Midas. Midas is his name.
Oh, well.
Like the most un-Maori name ever, like Shalom.
There you go. But yeah, for sure. If you're around, you practice it enough. Like when I say practice, you're just doing it every day. The reps in, you're going to get better.
But Dad was a muso. He made Mum a muso.
Yeah.
And she wasn't a musician. He just said, yeah, you play this. And so she did. My mum was a world champion darts player. She was number one in the world at one point at 16, 17. And then she got married. And it was all over. But we're around music, and beautifully so. Dad was my idol when it comes to singing. And I wanted to be like him.
I've got a question about that because it's the masculine domination thing. If your mum's number one of something in the world, why is she giving that up for marriage when your dad's in a local little band, I assume not making hella money? I know it's probably wasn't much money in darts, but why is she the one giving it up? I don't know if your parents are, what their situation is or was, or I would feel resent for someone else if I had to quit something that I'm the best in the world. Yeah. I would not give that up. I'm pretty selfish, to be fair. That's why I'm single.
My mother was 16, 17. At 17, she had a child. 16, she had a child. 16, 17 was my older brother. Her world was broken. When she met my dad, he was a black belt in karate or brown belt, something like that. And they met at a karate competition in 1973. She already had her first son, my older brother. And they were the last people that they thought would get with each other, but they were the last two at the party. Next morning, he just said, I love you and want to marry you. And that was it. Of its time, women would make decisions based on that structure of marriage, where you do stuff for your husband. I don't know that there was anything wrong with it, but I think my mother years later took darts back up, and she was number 5 in the late 80s, which is beautiful. I wish I'd embellished the number of times I could have won the cuddly toy at a slideshow, but I never did. She could have got every toy I ever wanted. I never abused that with her. I wish I did. A good question. It's a whole nother podcast because my mother and my father and the generational trauma in my family is very evident. And they got together both kind of broken from different religions. My mother was Catholic and she was in a convent as a child and she was abused, that stuff. And by the time they met in the 1973, the 70s was a time of exploration and all sorts of stuff. But she found the guy that she thought, and she also told my dad, I also have a son. He says, that's all right, I'll adopt him.
How old was he at the time? 18?
So mum was 18 actually. No, mum was about to turn 18 and he was 17. When she got married, she was 18, he was 17, yeah. So they got married 6 months later.
17-year-olds would say anything.
But, he did. There's a whole nother story, which I'm not going to go into. It's my brother's story, which he has a very different view on. He was adopted out. I didn't meet him till he was like 22. I was 20.
Oh.
It's and his father's from the Chatham Islands. He had I'll say this about it. He had in comparison to me, I had a nuclear family, 2 parents for all of my dads, until my mother passed away. He had not that, foster families, abuse, and that's his story. But we only reconnected late in my life, and we're really close now. We talk regularly, but I see the hurt that he's taken on and the brokenness. Yeah. And so I had the privilege of the family. I mean, who has a nuclear family these days?
Yeah, I was saying this to someone the other day that I want to tell you where it was. I don't know. there's a direct correlation between what I've experienced through coaching kids footy, between the behavior of a kid with both parents that are both present and they turn up to their games and they volunteer and they help out, versus the kids with no dad present, parents aren't supporting. You know, mum might be doing the best she can, but she's by herself, or both parents are there, but the parents don't give a shit and they just treat it as daycare.
Yeah.
Direct correlation.
Yeah.
Like, it's just true. You need both parents there present.
My parents argued. They were of different, dad, mum wasn't really a Jehovah's Witness, dad was, and we were as kids. But they were always, you couldn't play my parents off against each other. They had somehow figured out very early that, no, we have to both have the same discipline. I don't know whether that's they organize it or just happened as a matter of course, but that's what we knew. That besides, my mother was 6 foot tall. We didn't argue with her. Like these white families on TV where the mother would say, "You wait till your father comes home." My mother never waited. No, he'd come home and go, "How's the boys?"
Yeah. He comes home, I'll get him at the door.
Yeah, we're good, Dad. Sore, but good.
Yeah. Nah. Well, there was a period of time where my mum worked afternoon or night shift, and so mum wasn't home to protect us as much. Not that it was like violent, but like that, we were ruled by fear. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
Good fear?
I mean, I think now is healthy. Served me well. My brother, not so much. He would get hit and then make the same mistake. So that's his fault.
But how do you though? So hitting children became illegal at some point? No, I don't know. So I mean, I'm a child of the 80s, 70s, 80s. So
I was born in 96. Normal. So I was still like, my brother's...
Mildly acceptable?
No, it was acceptable, I think. But like, my brother is only 3.5 years younger than me, but that wasn't the same. Oh, we got the same discipline. But after that, like kids now, younger than me, they didn't get it. That's why they're all little.
And it wasn't just discipline, was it like the rules? No, you couldn't just go, Dad said I couldn't. And says, well, if your dad said, then okay.
Yeah.
Not that my mother wouldn't negotiate, because she would. If she felt very strongly that there was a case, she would argue the case.
Yeah, I would go to one and then ask the other, but most of the time they'd be on the same page.
Yeah. But I think it's a blessing.
Yeah. Well, like you said, like playing one off against the other, how many kids do that and now their parents also break up?
But also they learn that works for them, but then they go into real life. Oh, hang on. You can't play humans off against each other because it's nasty.
Yeah. Well, manipulation. And then kids are so good at it. And then that's why we have narcissistic relationships.
A whole nother podcast I can talk about. Anyway.
But we're getting off track. But that's the whole point. We're diving down these doors, opening the corridor, and saying, "Oh, what's behind here? Let's chat about that," and then we can go into the next. Because I feel like even just we probably spoke for an hour or two last week, but you can go down so many different interesting things that I think are of value to people. Maybe speaking about our childhood dynamics might be bringing up some trauma for people, but also learning experiences for those that are younger that haven't experienced that and go, a bit of an insight.
Yeah, but it's making it okay to talk about.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with about speaking about your truth that you've experienced.
So I left home at 17, moved to Christchurch from a rural area, was still a Jehovah's Witness. But at this point, sexually, I was finding secret ways to manifest my real sexuality, because you couldn't be gay in a Jehovah's Witness context. I became a ministerial servant, practically a minister. And then I moved to Sydney when I was 22, which is 1997. And I had two sides of my brain. One said, oh, look, I can go and still be a Jehovah's Witness, and I won't go and be gay in the gayest city on the planet.
Challenge accepted.
But I knew that as soon as I got to the plane, I was going to figure out how, and this is before the freaking internet. So I had to get, a magazine from a bookshop and figure out on the back pages what the address was of these places. And I did find these places, and I just lived this double life throughout the next 3 or 4 years. And I saw into my church in Parramatta, the Parramatta congregation. I lived in Parramatta. I then met my first ever boyfriend on a phone chat line. Shut up. And
what color was the TV? Black and white silver.
My VHS. And it was like, it wasn't like today. I couldn't see a picture of him or of each other. We just had to literally, so you'd put a message on the service on the phone, And so leave a message for other guys, press 1. To listen to other guys' messages, press 2. To send a message to this guy that you want to, that you like him, press 3. To connect live, press 4. Damn. And that's why I met Mark, who was my very first partner. And we were together for like a year and a half throughout the Olympics. It was a great period of time. But during that period of time, I also then went and got a sexual health test. And back then, particularly an HIV test, took 3 months. I waited the 3 months. And we wanted to get to the next step of relationship was to not use protection and that sort of thing. This while still being a Jehovah's Witness and separating those two lies in my head and publicly. And the test sadly came back positive for HIV, which absolutely devastated me. But I was never going to show that to the world.
That it devastated you or that you had it?
Correct. Or both.
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah.
Both. I told no one apart from Mark instantly. And I only let close workmates know over a period of time, but I was silently going out of my head. Mark eventually left me, not particularly because of that, but it did take its toll. I know it did. And when I was lonely, when I became then lonely and I had this thing, it sent me reeling. And eventually I moved to Melbourne to be with family when I was 27. And I was sad. Apart from feeling separate from the world and different and not really like I'm fitting in, having that thing, having HIV was just the real black, disgusting cherry on the top. And I remember looking up at God, Jehovah, at the time going, really? How am I getting everything else? You have to give me that? And I felt really annoyed by him. But then I went, I don't have a relationship with you anyway. I never did. Being in that religion was very intellectual for me. Did I love God? Nah. I wanted to, but I knew that I couldn't love him if I was that version of him, let's call him that version of him, if I was also breaking his rules. So I just used the intelligence of the religion, which is a very intellectual religion. I liked that part. So I used that as my grounding force to be in the church. But by 2001, I was broken. Tried to commit suicide. Oh, no, I was only thinking about committing suicide. There's a difference. Is there?
Yes, but I think that's an important thing to go through because a lot of people always think about it, but the distance between thinking about it and taking action is probably not that far.
Yeah, I think at the time there's still a big gap between the thinking and the even getting to the point of doing it, thankfully. And I did need my family. My dad intimated to me recently that he knew it. He knew it. Mum and Dad knew it by the time I got down there. But I just started a new life in Melbourne, and it was great. And I thought no one would love me again because I had that really disgusting disease. But I then met my long-term partner, Paul, of 17 years in 2003. And when I told him about it, he got really quiet. And I thought, right, he's going to get in the DeLorean and shoot back to the future. Nah, he just said, I'm not angry. I'm just upset you couldn't tell me sooner because I don't give a shit. So that was probably the first time where I needed to change even my internal narrative about who I was and who I'd become. And despite having this disease, some of the stuff is in my head. There's certainly people that would have gotten the DeLorean and taken off. But I didn't open myself up to the possibility of people being kind, generous, loving humans. I just thought everybody's going to hate me now. Let's just be done with it.
I'm just thinking back to when you were in primary school and people were telling you you're a pufta, you're gay, and you would just believe, then you believe it because they've told you. And then now it's done the opposite where you're creating that perception of yourself, assuming that they're going to think negatively of you because you've been told that previously. So that's already wired into you.
And they were truthful. But I was a pufta.
Yeah.
I wasn't gay. They weren't saying anything was wrong. They were just telling me that it was wrong to be that. That's the part of it it wasn't good. It was about feeling shame about it, which was the thing that really was not good.
The intention behind it. Because we've spoke about a joke is good if it's like there's an element of truth. You
Yeah.
can be crude if there's an element of truth.
Yeah.
But when the intention is to hurt
Yeah.
someone, that's when it's across the line.
Yes. I've been referred to about my sexuality in a comedy show by a person in the audience. I'm going, well, absolutely. It's true. But I will not let that now dictate the view that of me that you have about it. I says, well, thank you very much. Yeah, fuck yeah, I am.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. I'm more than okay with that. And so is most people in the room. So that's okay. But I believed, so they weren't telling me, they weren't lying to me. They were just framing it in a way that made it feel like I shouldn't be that.
Yeah. So then, yeah, you have another negative experience, test positive for HIV. You leave Sydney. Did you not feel like you had the support there from a community around you, especially, like you said, big gay community? What made you feel like you didn't have the support there that you needed to fit?
Wasn't in the gay community because I was hiding it from my church.
And so you definitely don't have the support of the church going through that. So you go to family in Melbourne.
I had a really great friend in Sydney. His name is Andrew, and he's still my really great friend now, who really I didn't realize until later years how important, I rang him the other day just to say how important he had been to me through those years. I'd have probably thought more about the committing suicide if not for him. He's one of the people I told and didn't look at me any different, loved me harder. Yeah, so I rang him the other day just to say how much that meant to me. It was 23 years ago. He came to my show last year at Sydney, and he sat there quiet after I did the show, and he says, there were just no words. There didn't need to be any words. He was still there for me. So I had a couple of people, but I didn't have everything I needed, which was a great support group. I was too scared to be part of the gay community because I felt like an outcast with them. Wasn't pretty. And they're so judgmental. Like, I don't know if you've ever been gay people, but they will look you up and down.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I don't like that part of the gay community or any community that does that.
Yeah.
But they particularly have it real, like they're ace at it. They're so good.
Well, like you said, you're constantly being judged your whole life for who you are. Of course, gay people are going to then deflect that when they're older and then start doing that to other people, right? If you're constantly being, you're gay, you're this, you're that, you've had your flaws pointed out your whole life. Of course, you're going to look to put that on someone else because you're going to try and take
hurt people hurt.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. Doesn't make it right.
No, absolutely not.
I mean, I've hurt people because I've been hurt. I try not to now vehemently, like with absolute vigilance. If I've hurt people, it's because I made a mistake, but not because I'm trying to push my hurt on someone else. Did that for far too long.
So you go to Melbourne. Who's the family or like support network, and why do you think it was so important to have them there, and how did they help you through that period? If you go from thinking about suicide to, okay, I'm back on track now, how can having a good support network around you help that?
I started a band. The reason I go to Melbourne was to start a band.
Okay.
It coincided with my mental health at the time, but my dad was not well and he couldn't fulfill a lot of the gigs that he was doing. So I was commuting to Melbourne to cover his gigs. I could sing all the songs that he sang.
Yeah. So your dad moved to Melbourne as well?
Yeah. So my dad and brother said moved to Melbourne. My brother moved to Melbourne. His eventually 6 children, wife. So I had family in Melbourne, and Dad came to pick me up in his van. Went down there, moved in, and I started this band with my brother, and we had that band for 14 years. Working with my family is great because we don't rehearse. Getting on stage was rehearsal. So we just start this band straight away. So we just got gigs straight away, and we gigged for 14 years. That became something that gave me joy, like getting back into music regularly. With my brother, who is who's just a quintessential musician. He can play anything. So, and when he plays for me, with me, and when we sing together, it's like someone just behind you giving you a hug. That's how he plays. Like I can trust him. I could do a gig with him tomorrow. Like, we do a 3-hour gig. Yep, down at this pub. Yes, done. We just rock up at 5 to 7. We start at 7, finish at 10.
Yeah, sweet.
And that's it. Yep. So that was a whole lot of love that I wanted. And then I met Paul a year and a half later after thinking I'd never meet someone. And then he just stalked me at all my gigs.
A true love story.
I was like, go away. No, literally, I was like, he's still hanging. Like in my head, no one was going to ever love me again. So this some point he'll realize, oh nah, and he'll piss off. And he didn't go away. And then 6 weeks later, he's still coming. We were going to my mum and dad's gig in Footscray, the Hearts Hotel in Footscray, and so I have to tell him tonight about the HIB particularly. And then when he said, I don't give a shit, that was it.
Yeah.
Like, what more could I want?
Yeah.
At that time. So that was the support I needed, and it was domestic bliss for a long time.
Yeah.
Until it wasn't.
So how does a perfect thing like that become not enough?
Because it isn't perfect. It's a white picket fence that doesn't exist. When you have that nice house, when you have a couple of reasonably well-paying jobs, a 4-bedroom brand new home with all the furniture and all the, especially, and our house was like a display home, you know, Carnegie Homes or whatever it was. And we had all the right furniture. We had a rumpus room and a formal living and an open plan and 4 bedrooms. One of our bedrooms was a shoe closet, literally, for our 600 pairs of shoes. That deserved a better response.
I was just like, oh, damn, I really thought I had too many shoes, but I'm good.
What's your count?
I was probably up to 30 odd. Well, it's not 600, but as a show.
I had 400, he had 200.
I had too many for a straight guy, but I guess maybe not.
Well, I've met straight. Anyway, so
yeah, we're not going to get into a debate about shoes.
Yeah, I know. And then we moved to Darwin because our life was just getting into a rut. And we loved Darwin. Seemed cruisy, easy. It's going to be amazing. And also we'll relax. And we got here and I realized Paul wanted to come here and relax. I wanted to come here and I think I told myself to relax and, take it easy. I realized that in this very small capital city, I could maybe do many things that I'd always wanted to. And it's exactly what happened. I got into theatre, musical theatre, choir, acting, writing, comedy, and it's very easy to be the big fish in a little pond here. Very easy. I learned some really good things along the way about kindness and humility and authenticity and all that stuff. So that's what drove me. But when you're the artist in your household and your partner is not, we'd been together by that stage 12 years, maybe 13 years. By year 14, 15, the crack started to show. The white picket fence was starting to fall over. The palings were getting dry. We were not having sex, which is goddamn important.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where the worst type of loneliness was the one you experience in your own house with someone else. That is the worst type of loneliness. If you're in love with someone, but you feel lonely with them, I used to come home and I'd say hi. And I'm not trying to say that that my partner was not a great human, because he is a great human. But we hadn't figured out how to fix this. And I'd come in and I'd say hello, and I get in my head, a mediocre response. For me, that was like rejection. And I would stand in the hallway of our apartment in Woolner and just give myself a 5-second cry and then walk around the corner and put the Hello Fresh on every day. And so when that continued for a long period of time, I remembered that for a period of time in Melbourne, I had found this drug that made me feel good. One day I made a phone call here in Darwin. It says, how much does it cost? It was $100, like way more than you pay in Melbourne. And I bought it and I smoked it and I went, fuck yeah. I didn't feel lonely. Didn't touch it again for a while. And then went to the ice capital of Australia, which was at the time Adelaide.
Really?
For Adelaide Fringe Festival in 2019 to do Purple Plastic Maori. And it's everywhere and endemic and easy. And I stopped it again. I'll just do it on holiday. Went to Adelaide Fringe again the next year. And I was on it for a month, doing a comedy show and a cabaret show. And sometimes doing those shows high as a kite. I had lots of fun. I won't lie. But it wasn't fixing any of the real issues that were there. And so when I returned to it sometime later back here in Darwin, we're here, it's a very different beast. It's a remote city. Prices are higher. You get access to buildings in Darwin you never thought you'd enter, like this one. Visit homes in suburbs you never wanted to actually enter either. I mean, what is Karama? But, and you find yourself in this world where you are then desperate to get it anyway you know how. And there's two, for me, I ended up, I'm essentially a nice guy and I would pay for everybody. And people knew it. And the only shame I have is looking back on that period of time, knowing that I let these people walk over me. I'm Shalom and I. Like in this town, I'm Mr. Christmas house. Like I'm a comedian and an actor. I don't mind marrying those words together and saying I'm just human and broken. But I do look back on those times as shameful and going, you get up on stage now and you command this room and you do comedy and it's easy. Comedy is the easiest thing I do. Singing is actually harder. But singing is my favorite thing to do. But then I'll just give in to people that say, yeah, you'll pay, just to fit in.
Yeah. Did you feel like, again, as somebody who has had to fit in your whole life, same as comedy, same as singing, you want everyone in that room to like you. You're commanding them, but you're doing something to make them like you.
Stop.
Oh, that's the hope.
Stop
and
it.
then so same as when it comes time to go, all right, I'm with all these people. I'm going to be probably spending a bit of time with them. How can I keep them on my side? How can I make them happy? Like that's something that's ingrained in your nervous system, is doing what is needed to keep the audience happy.
Okay, I wasn't prepared for a clever conversation.
Hey, this is where we are. This is what we're here for.
You're right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a difference. But you're right. It's such a high, making people like you. What changed over the years is that if there's a slight bit of manipulation in making people like you, then it's like the drug. It's not worth it. So now I treat my work, and I fail all the time, as a form of, don't get me wrong, I'll get the highs. I'll leave a gig and I'll get home and go, oh, it's our workplace hazard. As an artist, if you're in front of, like I've done the amphitheater in front of 7,000 people doing orchestra, like as the lead singer, to the 80s, sung in the air tonight, Phil Collins, with a 70-piece orchestra. One of the greatest moments of my life. And you go home to your bedroom and you go, well, that's shit. But now I, in my head, I've developed this thing that's just the way it is. If I started trying to make people like me, that's okay. What if I treat them with kindness? What if I give them a hug every time I see them? That transfers that probably very lonely version of what I was doing, and even a manipulative version of what I was doing, to something that's different. And I think most people who follow me that come to my gigs will say, he's a nice guy, and we get a cuddle from him, and he will come and talk to us, and he gives of himself. There was a time when I just decided that needed to be part of that transaction. Because yes, you're right. I want people to like me. It's now also part of the business that I run. I need people to like me. And when I got into comedy, Amy Hetherington said to me, and she said this to many comedians, but only the ones that have it, if you're likable, half your battle's over. You just have to, if you can get up, then people like you straight away. If you don't have to fight to be liked on stage, then that's gold. And I knew it. And she told me after my very first, she got me to do an open mic night, and I did. And she said, you're charming, people like you, half your battle's over.
For sure. If someone's a dick and they walk up, you're going to be standing there like this, all right, fucking make me laugh. But if you're a good person and they come to see you because they like who you are, they're more inclined to go, all right, this is going to be cool, I'm ready to laugh.
I also sat down at all of my initial gigs for like the first 2 years. I sat down and I realized if I sat down, people would relax. That's just part of, and I figured that out real quick, and I'm going, oh, wow, that means we're going to feel safe in this room together. No matter what I do, we will feel safe. And so and then when I'm writing comedy, which isn't often, I write on the fly. Like I write a lot of my gigs currently, and I just wing it. And that's not true. there's just repositories of stuff, live 50 years, all that, and then ways to make things funny. I will then, in a millisecond, process it through the comedy brain and go, right, is this going to hurt or make people happy? And if it's going to hurt someone, I don't think I've ever hurt anybody. One guy got up a comedy gig recently, it was open mic, and I spoke about being the number eight position in the rugby team when I was 8 years old. And the joke is that as an aspiring gay boy, that's the position that's going to determine your sexuality, because there's the number 8 position in rugby at all. So there's the scrum. There's 4 guys there, and there's 3 guys with their heads up their asses, and then there's 2 guys behind them up their asses, and there's 1 guy with his head up everybody else's asshole in the scrum. That's my position. That was the joke. Yeah. So I told the joke, and he stood up and he says, "No, you're not going to say things like that." Just heckled me, and but he's entitled to feel that way, but he's not entitled to interrupt someone's job, right? Anyway, so that no,
Featuring.
gonna talk about rugby like that. Again, I didn't know that you could go into changing rooms and slap people on the ass, but that's okay. But again, so I don't think I've said anything hurtful, and maybe if I've come close to it, I've reanalyzed that and said that's not good. So recently, I have jokes about having a Jewish name. Not saying those jokes at the moment.
Yeah.
Saying anything about Gaza, it's probably not appropriate. So that's the kindness filter that makes me not go there, because I don't want to hurt. I want to bring people in. I want to make them like me, but that's not the first reason. The first reason is my business vision is to create rooms full of love. If they like me as an offset, great. That does make me feel fantastic as a human.
I was thinking before when we were talking, we're still talking about it, it's feeling the need to make people like you, but doing things in terms of manipulation, whether that's buying drugs for someone, going, here, I'll do this thing and they'll like me. I'm buying their love, which is, manipulating someone is buying their energy. You don't need to do that when you have the love for yourself, when you don't need to get it from someone else. And because you, like you said, you turned back to something that made you feel good about yourself because you didn't feel that internally. You go, I can get something external to make me feel good, whether that's buying the love of the audience, whether that's buying someone else an illegal thing that they're going to enjoy. But when you have that self-knowledge, that self-strength, that self-wealth, and you have that internally, go, no, I know who the fuck I am. I feel good about myself. I don't need you to make me feel good. That's when you don't need to manipulate and get that from someone else. You can still make people love you by being who you are, because you know who you are, and they can see that, and then they're respecting and loving you for you. Yeah. But when you need to change yourself or buy it from someone, that's when the problem arises.
The reality is, I'm still on that journey to loving myself. I had a psychologist for a number of times, Henry, great guy. And I think we've done as much work as we possibly could. And recently I've been introduced to the concept of rewiring my brain. And I think we're at that point. My brain was wired to believe a certain group of beliefs by what, kids said and what the world said about me at the time in the 70s and the 80s. And I think that hard sets, I'd never considered this until recently, to a very dear friend sort of just offered this option. And I think it's what I have left. I am scared of, I just don't know how I can get to that point of fully loving who I am, because I currently don't. I love what I do, and I love what I can make people feel. And I do catch myself loving myself.
Fleeting.
It's not necessarily fleeting. It's just like there's the other side where I go, yeah, stop it. There's my own
beliefs.
There's my own, well, now it's my belief.
Yeah, but that's you're attaching it. You're giving it strength by saying, "Oh, that's my belief," but it's theirs. They've put it on you, and you can just go, "No, that's yours." Every time you feel that, no, that's you.
So someone said to me recently, Rachel from Krakow. She said, "Shalom," in a very Irish accent. I'm going to do it, but it's not very good. I was talking about getting rid of the demons, the last few demons. Shalom, just thank them and tell them to fuck off. And I thought, great. Then my other friend said to me, may I offer you a different view on that? She said to me, what if you just gave them a hug? Some of those demons help you get to where you are. I'm not saying that you just let them do what they want, but they may need a cuddle. just say, I'm good. You can sit there if you want to. I said, do you mean I don't have to get rid of all of them? She said, well, who does really get rid of all of them? Maybe you could just change the narrative with them and take control of that narrative. And it changed the battle. That the battle wasn't so insurmountable. That getting rid of them, it just wasn't probably going to be part of that. But I think the rewiring of the brain concept, I don't know much more about it, but I'm booking some stuff in January about seeing how that goes. So let's chat later. I think that's where we're at. Because it is very hard set. I'm hard set to sabotage myself and to go home and feel lonely, not okay in my skin. I went for dinner in Alice Springs by myself, and I posted that I was having dinner I actually felt really good, but being there and owning my own space. And the whole time, there was just part of my brain going, you're lonely, front.
I do that. I'll post about going on a dinner date by myself. Yeah, fucking earth. I did it. I remember I was just at Grilled. I was on the way home from footy, and I was like, I'm going to stop in here and get something. I'm going to post about it. I'm going to put on my story, and 20 odd people liked it. 20, 30 people.
Yep.
Like, people loved the concept of it.
Yeah, same.
But that whole time, I was still sitting there going, they can see me by myself. This is weird. You know what I mean? I'm like, no, this is really good. I know it, but those demons are going, I'm creating fake perceptions of other people. I'm creating judgment, assuming other people are judging me. I'm thinking, they're thinking that guy's alone, but I know that I'm doing the right thing and it's good for myself, but there's still the things on my shoulder judging other people's voices that don't even exist. I'm creating them.
It was the comments on Facebook and Instagram that made me feel really okay about it.
Yeah.
But really what I was like, okay, I'll just go and do it. And it took me a lot of strength to go into dinner, but it was free. Came with a room.
Always makes it a bit easier.
It does. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to sit here and enjoy my meal. And I felt it was almost like a gig. Because in a gig situation, I'm the boss. I'm in control of this space. I will walk into a room. And what I learned in Darwin is that my ex-partner used to not go to certain events because, that person's going to be there. And I learned, what I did learn, which has been successful for me, is like, why would I let someone else control the space that I want to be in? So I'm good at that. There's certain things I'm really good at. Like I will walk into a room and I'll see someone that, I don't particularly want this person in my life. There's no way that you're going to take my space. And I'll walk up and someone said to me, how do you do that? I said, I go straight up to the person. See, nice to see you. Take care. And I'll walk away. And they either accept that or they go, I don't care now. I've just claimed my space back. And you can share it or not. I don't really give a shit. So it was a little bit of that night at the Mercure in Alice Springs, where I just went, and people would come across, and the people I did, hello, nice to see you, that sort of thing. I had to do a fair bit of that to make myself okay in the space, but if that's what I had to do, it was still a nice moment.
I think for like leading with love, you're taking charge of the situation. You're kind of controlling the outcome. If you walk in there with anxiety into that room and avoid that person, you're creating that tension because you're letting them know that it exists. Where if you just go to disarm them straight away, or if they choose to create a shit situation, that's their choice. You're choosing to lead with love and go, hey, whatever, see ya, that's it. If they create, tension, they create a scene, everyone's going to see that. That it's them. Where you're leading with love, everyone knows that you what you decided, what your control was, and then that's on them.
It's easy to be a big fish in a small pond here, and most people know who I am here, and it's a not really nice. Does make me feel good when I can walk down the street and know lots of people, and they'll come up to me and say hello, and go to a cafe, and just go to a shop. And go to a shop recently and this is for free. We saw you at your show. I went to Vinnie's in Stewart Park recently, and the lady came up to me, love your work. I'm going, what work? The VHS tape should have been deleted. She said, no, I saw your cabaret show, Purple Plastic Maori, this year, and we've also been watching you for like 4 or 5 years. I didn't know about this person. I mean, wait,
in Karama, you were watching me? That was you I saw in the window?
Not that Domino's. But yeah, but then I pay that back by acknowledging, thank you so much. That does make me feel good. I was over the moon. I posted on TikTok and everything. But there's this still this like little sections of me that respond to it differently. The little boy goes, yes, someone likes me. The accomplished comedian, musician, performer goes, yeah, fuck yeah. I'm that good.
Yeah.
But they will just sit there all together at the moment. And that's not exactly horrible.
What does Shalom think of that?
Which Shalom?
You, now, the present being, not the kid,
No.
not the performer, just like the person who's experiencing life and going, oh.
He thinks those two things at the same time. Shalom does think, someone likes me. More than I like myself. So that's the part I want to rewire, if that's possible. The other part of it is like, yeah, I'm that good. I know my talent. I hate the word talent. It assumes that you didn't work for it. I know my skill sets, and they're really good. My biggest skill set is I make people happy. Doesn't matter whether I'm doing comedy or singing or acting or whatever. And people came out to a play I was in recently, and we just love your character. Shit actor. But I'll put everything I have into that batch of work to make people feel something, whether it be sadness or melancholy or happiness or nostalgia, whatever it is. The job of a performer is to make people feel. And I've been in customer service my entire life, and I now treat my job as a customer service role. The best customer service representatives are people that leave you feeling something. They don't sell a product, they sell a feeling. And so that's what I know that I do well. So yeah, I'm proud of the skill sets I have. I'm even proud of the love that I give. I'm mostly proud of me. But there's a part of me that just isn't quite there yet and ready to accept all of it. I thought I was. I said at my company show, I'm good enough. And the very next week I got hired as a cut because I wasn't good enough. At least I told myself I wasn't. And I've done it a couple of times since where I've just told myself, I can't pick up someone unless they're drugged up. And that's the other part of that drug, ice particularly. It's predatory in a way because you want other people to let their guard down. So maybe if I give them, we both have this drug, I'll look prettier.
Very Tiger King vibes there.
Thanks for that.
I'm
just glad you didn't say Epstein. I don't own an island. But it is close to, I don't want to be that. But there has been times when because you're the gay world, there's lots of people that do that. It is because we still haven't figured out how to love. Now, let me just be honest. If I get on a dating app, I'm not the first pick of the litter. The facts are, I'm just going to use you an example. You get on, if you were on that dating app, it will light up like a fucking Christmas tree.
I can't accept. I suck at accepting compliments, and now I'm like, is it a compliment? It's
a compliment, but it's a fact as well. Put your white, dreadlocked face on a dating app, especially in the gay world, right? Bing, bing. Put my face. The first response I normally get is, I don't do Asians, which is both offensive and wrong.
Yeah.
And even if, and then I find myself, but I'm not Asian, like it's a bad thing.
Yeah. You shouldn't have to defend your,
and half the Asian profiles on Grindr are blank. More than half.
So a bit of vulnerability here. I actually downloaded Tinder a couple of days ago.
Right.
Just needed some validation, right? I don't know. I was just like, fuck it.
Put the cricket noise here.
That's what I got. No, I downloaded it. Firstly, Darwin's very small. You run out. And it wasn't, I'm not going into that because I'm not going to say what I saw. No, I was just like, no, I'm not interested. I know it's not for me. And there was no one that I was swiping yes to. Got a few likes. So I'm not paying for gold, so I'm not looking at it. But it was just, it wasn't, I don't know. Well, I wasn't matching anyone. So there's nothing, I don't know. Not for me. So, don't know. I don't like the apps. That's where I'm getting at. I'm deleting it. I just wanted to feel good and have some people go, like you're hot.
I mean, I met both of my long-term partners. The one on a phone chat line, as I said before.
Yes.
The other was at Footscray Park. So
I feel like you need to meet organically. And that was part of my theory. I said to someone the other day, I don't think the phone chat line
in the morning.
In Footscray too. I was like, look, my Darwin's small. My face may be seen on TikTok a couple of times if people said they've seen me, but I'm like, even if I never match them, people might swipe past and then I'll be more familiar. Maybe that'll help meeting someone organically. Because, you know, you see someone that you've like, I sort of know that person, you're more inclined to then talk to them. It's like, oh, I think I know you. I don't know. That's really weird mindset.
No,
I don't know. But that's what I was like, oh.
Because the other thing that's happened to me is that you meet people that you've had sex with here if you've been out and about. And I've met a lot of people, and some of them be at gigs. Some of them was here at Casuarina Square, and I had become very okay with it. We just had sex, or we had a relationship, whatever. Wow, what a great life! I'm not going to. Why would I make this more? Why would I make it? Why doesn't have to be awkward? A man came to my farewell gig. I never left.
Good way to sell tickets, sir.
I didn't know he was coming. He walked up to my gig, and I'm like, "What are you doing here?" He says, "I just had to come. I brought my mum. No awkwardness, nothing." And we had been we'd used together, and we'd had some ugly moments, and also a moment of sort of like that was what it was. Now you're a comedian. Now I'm in a healthy spot. So, well, great. So there's hugging. So, especially in Darwin. So the thing I've learned about as a businessman here, my work as my business, is that you cannot, don't say something to anyone else that you wouldn't say to the actual person's face about them. Because they will find out. Probably. 1 degree of separation or 2 degrees sometimes.
Yeah, I feel like that in general now. If I have that thought come in my head, that's as far as it goes. Because even if they don't find out, someone here.
But I also tell my version of the story, not theirs. So I'll mostly only tell. I told versions of stories about other people that I shouldn't have. But I try not to. It's not my story to tell. And someone said to me during that period of time, in my darkest times, says, "Well, tell us about what happened there." Says, "Well, I did it, but what did he do?" So, well, that's not my story to tell. I can't own that story, and I might get it wrong. But either way, it's not my story to tell. He goes, "Oh, come on, just tell us." What's there to hide? Nothing.
Yeah.
But you go and ask him.
Yeah.
You go and ask him. And if clearly my life is very public here, and I talk about this subject matter, the ice use and various things. I also now work all of that into part of my business. And the more authentic that I become, and even being authentic to admitting my mistakes. I mean, 6 weeks ago, I came close and I really did bomb at a gig because I was high as a kite. I then apologized to that room, and I apologized 2 weeks later to the next room, and they just loved me back. Now, there's a part of my brain that knows that that's what I hoped for and what was the business plan, that I have to, it's a PR plan. If I had a PR, I've got to afford it, they become down. We can do this, and this, and we went to a bet. But if you're your own PR person, it had to be authentic. It was authentic. I want to create rooms full of love, not rooms full of unsafety. So I did apologize. I said, I told everything. I was high as a kite. And that's not what you deserve as a paying audience or any audience of mine. You deserve to get the full version of this very skilled artist who invited you here for a sing-along today at $15 a head. I just made $750 today from you all. Thanks very much. I can eat. But you deserved that version 2 weeks ago. And so and that will never happen again. The more that I work authenticity, even my mistakes into my business, any business, if you're ever running a business, work your mistakes into your business.
Yeah.
Especially with social media.
Well, that's where most of our lessons come from, right? So
I did a gig recently called Fuck Up Night about business owners that have made mistakes along the way. And I was part of, and I met a man who runs a water ionization company. I don't know if you know him, but anyway, and he came up to me and said, I was expecting to hear business owners just make financial mistakes and not do this thing right or make customer service mistakes. And then you told a meth story. We have lots to talk about.
Yeah.
You know, a period of time when he was using it, and he's very public about it on his Instagram.
Yeah.
And so we've connected that way. And I now realize the value of being able to communicate from the platforms that I have this story, because I know how much it resonates, because particularly meth does not matter who you are now.
From the top to the bottom. Yeah.
From Bendigo to Bondi Beach, to Darwin, to Wonthaggi. Doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah.
It's interceded so many different communities. I don't even preach that it's a bad drug. It's just a drug. What I now have to come to terms with personally is that, is it now serving what it did? Because it did serve a purpose in the beginning. It was fun. Now it's serving to replace loneliness, and that doesn't work.
You're never going to find whatever that absence within you externally. Nothing's ever going to fill that void. It's always something you're going to have to fix with it.
But it does for a few hours, sometimes all night.
I was going to say a few days, mate.
Okay. That was a good week. But the time when I came back, I don't think I've said this publicly, but I'd taken GHB, ketamine, and about half a gram of meth the night before I got on the plane to come to Darwin. Got on the plane, had to go to Officeworks, print off materials for the gig, got to the gig late, did the gig, profusely sweating, hyperhidrosis, had to stay in the cooler for like 5 minutes to cool down. That didn't work. And I just remember seeing myself from outside of my body going, you look dirty. It's not the only time that this happened, but it's the worst. And people were looking at me like, not that they were ashamed of me. I don't know what they felt, but it was like, Shalom, we love you too much for you to be this. That was what killed me.
Yeah.
Was the love. If they'd walked out and didn't like me, that would have killed me too.
Yeah.
But that they loved me enough to want it to be different, that was a real good turning point.
Yeah. Have you spoken to is your father still alive?
Yes.
Have you spoken to him about this experience like recently since? Like you said, you went home to family for support back then. What's that relationship like now?
That relationship hasn't been good for a long time.
Okay.
Prior to my mother dying, and it got worse after my mother dying. It's probably a story I'll talk about when he's died. Not that it hurts me, but whatever vestige of joy that he has left in his life. He's a very ill man. He has kidney failure. And it's something that I need to work out later, whatever I need to work out. But my dad raised me, 300 sheep a day, taught me how to sing, perform, be funny, be good at English, like those white bastards. That's how he raised us. Yeah, be better at English than those white bastards. They come and talk us over. You're going to... We used English as a weapon. And when you affiance yourself to a person and you say, no, it's pronounced this way, and they don't give a shit, and then you fight for the version of English you have. No, it's H. It's H. H. Anyway, and you fight because your dad told you to. It's not great. He was my hero. And he still is. But also my dad and my mum and me and my grandparents and my uncle, we're all just broken. And there's decisions that he has made in the last couple of years which have hurt me. And I moved in with him in March of this year, and it hasn't been rosy. I'm not even perfect in this scenario, but he's at a point in his life where his health is pretty bad, and I want him to, in whatever capacity he has, to just live out the rest of that time without any more angst from me. I'll sort that out when he passes.
Yeah. Do you feel like I feel like it's funny you talk about generational trauma and cycles and, grandparents and da-da-da-da-da. And I've had that too. I went to New Zealand.
See, I look at you as a white person and you haven't had such a... I think we talked about this, so they're like...
How do you think every country came to have the name that it had? Someone took it. Like, Europe used to be ancient.
The black in me really wants to refuse your version of the world, but you're
ancient
right.
Rome used to be ancient Rome, and now it's all these other countries. New Zealand used to be, I don't know what it used to be called for New Zealand. You can say it's
Aussie at all?
Yeah, you can say it's that.
Yeah.
But before that, probably had another name. Australia definitely never used to be Australia. All these countries eventually got taken over by someone. That's just the way the world is, unfortunately. Like we're in, if you want to get spiritual, Kali Yuga, that's the end of days, so it's all turning to shit.
Oh, what?
Kali Yuga, that's like a Hindu, Indian term where the world runs in like 6,000 year cycles. There's the golden age, Silver Age, Iron Age, and we're in the fucking Iron Age. We're in the shit one now. But yeah, there's lots of hate, murder, all the stuff in the world at the moment. It sucks. Countries get taken over. People are greedy. They're 1% or 99% of the world's money. It's fucked. But every country came to what it was because land was stolen, people were killed.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. That's how it happened. So, my granddad came here on a boat. My mum's mum's dad came to New Zealand on a boat. We all came from somewhere else to get to where we were, apart from traditional owners of the land. They were probably born where they were. Who knows? Like, most islanders are prolific fishermen. They had boats. Like, the Maoris had great sailing abilities in boats. Of course, they've been to other islands, right? Anyway, I'm getting off topic. That's got nothing to do with my family trauma. I mean, maybe it probably does. I spoke to my nan in New Zealand, and I tried to have that moment where
Where are you in New Zealand?
She was living in Milton.
Milton?
Yes.
Nobody lives in Milton.
No, exactly right. It's a shit town.
Just go to Dunedin and be done with it.
Yeah.
It's just one little stupid motorway away.
The place sucks. But anyway, she's passed, and I saw her. But this is what it is.
Got to live with that.
No, December 2023. She's old, lives alone. Probably doubt I'm going to go to New Zealand again before she passes.
Sure.
So I try to have that moment, sit in the backyard and go, oh, what was your dad like? What was he? Oh, why did he come? He came to New Zealand from England by himself. No family, no kid, just went there. Oh, so why did he come? She's like, oh, we didn't talk about that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't ask him. Oh, fuck, something's going on here. My dad's dad came here on a boat he was born in Tunisia. His family's from Italy. Yeah, which is like, there's Italy, Tunisia.
No, I know in Tunisia. So I was just like, that was the last place I expected.
Yeah, his family's Italian. My last name's Scrivano. It makes sense. But there's so much shit between doing that and then becoming my parents to becoming me. Yeah. What I'm getting at is that every family has a story. Some are better or worse. If you're putting it on like a piece of paper and going, oh, fuck, I'm happy to go through what I went through because I didn't go through that. Yeah. But for everyone who's going through that at the time, that's the worst thing they've ever experienced. So everyone experiences trauma through their own lens. And some kid could have just been smacked on the ass and think that's a life-changing thing. They weren't belted with a hose like my dad got or, whatever experience a kid had, which, for unfortunately, a lot of people experience sexual abuse in the home or through someone else's home or somewhere else, or you've been beaten up and jumped or shot, whatever happens. But for the person experiencing it at the time, that's the worst thing that's ever happened to them. So they might not have the tools or the people around them to help them with that. And then they're going to pass on trauma, albeit not that bad of an experience, down to their kid and down to theirs. So, I'm just trying to say that you can't discount anyone's perception of trauma at the time. It's the worst thing ever. I don't know where I was going, but I was...
Oh, because I intercepted you were discussing generational trauma.
Yeah.
And then I went on this rant about white person.
Yeah. But I mean, if you look at anything that Vikings and shit did, they were doing that to white people, and that was fucked.
I know. I watched the Viking series on Netflix and went, damn, you white people.
Did you see Shane Gillis's joke about Vikings? There's like gay Vikings. Worst thing you could ever imagine. He's like, yeah, they're coming here. They're like, oh, they're gay. They're coming for me. Like, there's the guys like, oh, fuck. All right, no, this is a real problem. I thought that was pretty funny.
Okay, great. I like that.
But yeah, I don't know where it's going. Trauma is fucked up.
Generational trauma is real.
Oh, what I was getting to that is everyone's experience, or not, I shouldn't say everyone. I hope people have, but a lot of us have experienced it through some way or another. To you, it's a big deal, right? And you said your parents' issues and the grandparents' issues, that's massive. For me, on someone on this path of like self-development, you're on a path of bettering yourself too. And what I was saying is, before your dad passes, do you think that there is part of you, because there's part of me that wants to heal that relationship with my dad and be the one to break the cycle and say it stops with me? I would love to heal that part of him as well and say, hey, I know you went through some shit as a kid. I know you're still holding on to it now because my dad still self-medicates with weed and alcohol and that sort of thing. I know that there's a need for him to fill the void similar to what you feel. He's numbing something. I would love to be the one to share that experience with him, understand what his trouble is, and hope that I can understand it. We don't have to heal him, understand it. And I think a lot of people who listen to a podcast like this, when we're talking about people's journeys of adversity and self-discovery and growth, hopefully we're all cycle breakers. We've all been through something difficult, but we're going, all right, I want this to end for me, but not only for me, because I want to have kids one day and I don't want them to have to deal with things that I dealt with or see pain that I've seen my parents hold or their parents hold. I would like that to stop here.
Yeah.
And I want to surround myself with people. And like, Paul, we met on the weekend. He said the same. He's got young kids. He's also of Maori descent, Islander descent. And he doesn't want his kids to go through what he went through. And he's got history of mental illness with his family. And he realized that I'm watching that through his siblings that, all right, I need to separate myself from that because I don't want to have that. And I just feel like, I'm trying to put myself around. I don't know if you've had that thought of, all right, I want this to stop with me. Can I heal this relationship with my dad before instead of waiting? Because do you think there might be a sense of regret if you do wait for that moment and then it passes?
I tried.
Okay.
I'm just going to say it just because I think the truth is the truth. My dad's a narcissist. Not going to happen.
That's probably protected him his whole life, right? So, and he's that old, it's probably, like you said, that little voice is there and you may be able to get quiet, not rid of it. He's probably there and it's...
4 years, all of that.
Yeah.
But I think at the top of the things that we can learn how to deal with life and to deal with how you treat other people, that is the one that is very difficult to treat unless the person wants to have it treated. And he doesn't.
Yeah, they usually have to have a rock bottom moment or something that comes crashing down.
Yeah, I mean, my mum dying should have been it. But then, I'm just going to tell you, he then accused me of killing my mother and turning my brother gay and lots of other bullshit. I still went and moved in with him thinking that I might be able to mend this relationship. I love my dad, but I can love him but not like him. We don't have to repair this. I'm okay with the journey I've taken. And I look at his context and suggest that he's had a pretty tough time himself. How he's developed this version of how he treats other people is not mine to fight. I can't. I just cannot. The best thing I learned to do when I was living at Dad's place this year, I mean, back and forth, is to shut my fucking mouth. Because every time that you react to someone who displays narcissistic traits, the more I say it, the more it hurts. That's what they want. Learning to shut your mouth. It had a dual effect. Firstly, it doesn't fuel any of their fire. It's exactly what a person displaying narcissist wants is for you to fuel their goddamn fire. And if you react negatively or whatever, even not negative, they will find whatever. If you respond positively, they'll find a way to make that dark. If you don't say anything at all, they'll still try and get something out of you. Oh, well, now that you didn't respond. Clearly that.
Yeah, says a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, so he sent me this big, long 4-page message on Messenger about everything that I'd done wrong. My response was to not respond. Then he sent me it again, copied and pasted it, and said, given that you didn't respond last time, may I just refer person? You don't have that time to think about it. I had the time to look at that message. When he sent me that the first time, I almost went to my dealer with the stage I'd been clean for months and months and months. My mother had not once been in the grave for 2 months. And I vowed after Mum that I would just, come on, she's another reason to stay clean. It's 2023. When he sent me that message, I wanted to come here to this building. Anyway, so I'm not going to let him win. I'm not going to let him win. He's not going to have that power of me, and I didn't at the time. In person, it's difficult because you're there. But what I learned is the dual thing that happens when you shut up is that there's no fire. There's no fuel for his fire. And I'll tell you, the craziest thing that happens when a narcissist doesn't have fuel for a fire, they become sad. And I watch my dad go from wanting to be angry and have something on me to crying because he had nothing. and he was left with his own emotions and thoughts. Yeah, that actually affected me, and like I felt sorry for him.
Mm.
And I don't feel sorry for him necessarily, but I look at him now and say, fuck, it must be lonely in there.
Mm.
When you can only find connection with people through making them feel small.
Mm.
And that's what he does. So there's nothing more to repair. I won't be able to do it. He will have to want it first.
Yeah.
I think he's too, I love him. My brothers love him. But there'll be a relief when we don't have to figure out ways to not let that become part of our identity. When his life is over, he's lived till 70, it's been a good innings. I will miss the Taika Waititi version of him. Father that dug himself out of prison and just taking him to see Michael Jackson, because that was my dad was like. He told us all these stories, and they were great fun. It was fun when I was a kid. It was fun. A certain time in his life, he suffered with mental health badly. And then the artist career didn't take off. And then health failed him, and I see how much that can hurt. I mean, it hurts me, stuff that's happened to me. I hope that I never get to the point of wanting to visit that hurt on other people in that way. Because narcissism is nasty and unfiltered and is designed to manipulate, and is very difficult. Ask any psychologist. Very difficult to fuck off. And that's not my job. My job is just to love him. I've said too much right now, but I don't care anymore. It's been a sense of liberty in being able to say it to more than...
Just get it out, yeah.
I mean, I've told other friends and stuff like that, but even now as I say it, there's part of me going, oh, Dad, see this. So what? The truth is the truth. And it's my version of the truth. He definitely will have a different version of this. My younger brother, who lives with him, who's also gay, autistic, high functioning, has had to navigate that in person for 37 years, 38 years. He is the superhuman. He is doing stuff that I will never be able to do. He has navigated a relationship with my father, which I will never be able to have, because he's been there the whole time. And I did jack shit when my mother was dying of cancer. Even when my dad was being sick, I did nothing. I said in my fucking lovely life in Darwin.
Yeah.
I do have regrets about that. I think regrets are healthy if you don't wallow in them.
Yeah, it's a learning, not a regret. Yeah. All right, next time or not. Yeah.
But I said that when my mother died. Well, my mother died. I can't do anything about that. And I'll do more for my brother. And I have done things for my younger brother, Jan, who's living with my dad. I haven't done enough. I wasted a lot of that time on drugs. That's some of the regret. Like the money and the time that I could have been helping my brother and supporting him more. He's an obese man at 180 kilos who also lives his own trauma. Again, his story to tell. So yeah, I have regrets about lots of the choices I made based on figuring out a really dumb way to cure loneliness and separation. So this has been a healthy chat, actually. I was never going to... No, I'm happy to tell truth. But I am, if my dad was to see this, we probably won't. Anyway, can you check your follows after this and just know? Okay. And if he does, then he'll know the truth.
It's an interesting mirror, because narcissists, it's all about manipulation, right?
Yes.
And what we were talking about in a performance, the best way to do it is with authenticity. You're not buying their reactions, where narcissist is the polar opposite. Yeah.
Yes. And it is all about getting the reactions. But also making sure that the narcissist make sure that they are out of the firing line. It is designed to put the blame on someone else when the true value of the manipulation becomes apparent. Oh no, I didn't say that. My dad said to me in the message to me about making my brother gay, this is how he said it. Your mother was always concerned about your brother hanging around you. Now he's gay and it's too late.
Blame on your mom. Yeah.
He commented on a post, ABC had a picture of me wearing a Maori grass skirt, a pew-pew, and a corset for pride and high heel shoes. I look fabulous. Also fell over in the heels once, but it's okay. And they put it on Facebook. And my dad posted in Maori these words, which everybody that didn't speak Maori must have thought, oh, he must be just talking, supporting his son. No, what it said is, you dishonor your mother through your depravity. In Maori, on my mother's account.
That's so dumb.
I don't need to fix anything with my dad.
Yeah. That's
I'm okay where we sit, and I'm okay to love him. That's all he gets. If he chooses in the short time he's got left to say things differently, great, I'll accept those.
Well, I'll offer you one thing there. So my dad and his dad's relationship, not very good.
Your dad and his dad?
Yeah. Because his dad was a boxer, CTE, childhood trauma. Yeah, that's what I'm drawing it down to, because CTE is only a new thing.
What's the E stand for?
It is the brain trauma. Like, and then
Childhood
no, CTE is like CTE is like the
I thought it was an acronym.
Yeah, it is. It's an acronym for like what boxers get when they get too many concussions and they get depressed and bright lights. And
this is like the other day when you guys were talking footy, I zoned out for ages.
Yeah, fair. So yeah, CTE is just like something you develop from too many head knocks, and it can become abusive, erratic, all these things.
Yeah.
And Dad got hit as a kid, had been hospitalized, that sort of thing. So he had a very fractured relationship with his dad. His dad made him drop out of school at 14 to go get an apprenticeship. All this all this sort of stuff. And that's probably nothing. That's all I've heard. So yeah, it's probably nothing. But his dad lived to like 91.
Same with
and they say like the good die young. So it's like, well, did you say he's 71?
My dad is 70 now.
Yeah.
My grandfather died at 92.
Yeah. So you say like with the time he's got left, you could have a lot of time.
I went down in March to see my dad's final time out. And when I joke and I don't joke, people say to me, how's your dad? Good. I don't necessarily want him to die, but he's got very bad health, like no kidney function at all. Dialysis every 2 days. It's not a great life, but if he hangs in there for whatever he decides to hang in there and his body allows him, then great. But if he also passes real soon, I want him to know that he's done a great job. I'm not a performer without that guy. I've developed my own version of who I am, but I would not be singing on a stage or acting or doing any performance without that man, because he put me on a stage and he made the stage the safest place in the world. And that still is. When I'm on a stage, I am invincible. There are people that try and perform around the world and never got raised that way. So I fucking love my dad for that. Who gets that? And he taught me to be funny and eloquent and articulate. And I will take that and I will celebrate for the rest of my life. The stuff that got in the way in the future, in the end, it doesn't matter. It just makes him human. I'll just love him for all of it. I will detest the things I know to be wrong. I didn't tell my brother gay. The kid was gay from ages ago. But I didn't kill my mother. She died of cancer. But I love him. He is part of who I am. I don't know other dads that go and share 300 sheep a day just to feed their children with gout. I currently have gout, and I barely get in the car, let alone go and bend my back and share 300 sheep. He would go to work with gout and deep heat, not the meds I'm on right now. So he's a superhuman, broken, but he'll go to his grave at whatever point he chooses to, or his body chooses to, and I'll celebrate the superhuman, and I'll tell the broken parts as well, because they make him human. And I'll tell my own broken parts as well to the day I die. That wasn't meant to happen. Jeez, you're Oprah. Dr. Phil.
I've got a bit better hair than him, I would have thought, but yeah. No, thanks for sharing. It was really
no, thanks for the space.
Vulnerable and yeah, that's what we're trying to create, is a safe space to have a conversation that I feel like the people can get a lot of value from. Like I said, I think everyone has their own internal family stuff, personal stuff, whatever it is. And there's so much power in sharing it. Because like you said, the guy, I just came to hear stuff about people's work fuck ups. Didn't realize I'd find something that I've experienced myself and related to. And I'm sure people will get something out of this one. Oh, I wanted to hear about a comedian and his story. And then, oh shit. All right. Like there's something there I can relate to as well.
Yep.
So thank you.
No, thank you.
What else, before we let them go? You've got a few things on the go. Where can people find you? What can they look for?
If you look up Shalom, can't spell it properly. SHALOMKAA in American Sign Language. And Darwin, you'll just find me. Someone recently met me at a cruise lounge in Adelaide, and the next day messaged me on Instagram, and they said, "Oh, we met each other in this bar yesterday." I says, "How did you find me?" It's not hard to put Shalom Car into Google and find you. So if you put Shalom Car into Google, you will find me. I run a few regular gigs here in Darwin, which one is the best thing I've ever done, which is at Last Supper Pizzeria. It's called Bar Choir. It's a space for anybody to come and sing. Now, I know that sounds like I know that sounds like the reverse of what people want to hear. But I've had truck drivers come and walk out singing Celine Dion. It's not a conversion therapy. It's just
We've been trying for years.
Right. But so we do that once or twice a month. The next one is actually going to be Aussie versus New Zealand. I've got a picture of the pavlova in front, not wanting to be controversial. And the other... well, no, he was born in New Zealand, but, you guys had better hay or something. Anyway, and then I have my show about called A Fireman Saved by Penis coming up in late February.
You can have it first.
Can I?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Normally I get told by tech guys I'm too loud, but that's fine.
So
comedy shows, and then I'll have some fringe shows this year, and hopefully in the latter part of this year, I'm going to be touring New Zealand with Purple Plastic Maori.
Sure. That'd be sick. Yeah.
You know, the most attractive thing about a white guy is when he pronounces Maori properly, and I'll tell you why. Because in my time, they didn't do that. So to
Maori, you're Maori.
Oh yeah, pretty much. And they said, or they just pronounce all our place names wrong, like Wakatane. It's Whakatane.
Well, to be fair, no one's going to assume that a W and an H makes an F sound.
We didn't invent it. The white missionaries did.
Oh.
Do you know why?
Okay.
The cleverness of it is that certain tribes said an F sound and certain tribes said a W sound for the same word. So they created this diphthong, this consonant diphthong that represented both. We didn't have a written language before the white people came. It was all oral and pictorial, or carvings, and then we passed that on down. So that when the missionaries came, they realized that the languages around the Pacifica were all similar. So then they started using Greek letters to attach to our languages, and they also then dialectally. Because the language is pretty similar. It was the same across New Zealand, but there's different dialects. So like some people would call it Wakatane and others call it Whakatane, or Whangare or Wangare are both acceptable depending on the tribe you're from. There's an L sound in the South Island by one tribe near Milton. There's a place called Waihola. We don't have an L in our language, but this particular dialect does, because it's a derivative from our Pacific Island heritage where they have the L sound in their language. So it wasn't our fault. It was actually a very clever way of mitigating that difference between the different dialects. So the missionaries gave us that, and they were very clever about it and made our language very simple for the colonists to learn and then take our land.
Awesome. Oh, thanks for the history lesson as well. I wouldn't have known that.
I watched that on SBS the other night.
Okay.
There's actually some really good programs. There's one called Speak No Maori. And my dad came from a period of history where you were told not to speak the language or you got the strap.
There you go. It's funny that, because I loved it, like watching New Zealand news, and they would have there's their own like political party, and in school they do like language and that sort of stuff, where in Australia there's nothing to do with Indigenous representation. So I thought that's one thing New Zealand did well, but it's interesting that you said it was like discouraged.
And in that episode of
Camera's just died.
That's cool.
We can chat.
In that episode of Speak No Maori, it talks about why the language dropped out in the middle of the century, not 20th century, and how it became revived. And we started fighting back in the 80s. Well, no, this is wrong. What you did was wrong, and you've taken our culture away. We want it back, and we wanted to put it in legislation. And so it's in legislation. That's why we have 5 Maori language TV sections in New Zealand. Two that are full-time, everything programs in Maori, full no English at all, and 3 that are bilingual.
Yeah, okay, cool.
I don't know why we're not doing that in Australia. It's kind of disgusting that is not the same part of the resolution. I don't know that it should be. But I love turning on Māori television on Apple TV. I've been in New Zealand, so I can't do it that way. But I turn Apple TV on and there's Māori television. There's 5 dedicated stations. I turn on SBS and there is as much Māori, there's more Māori content on SBS than there is Indigenous. I know they have their own station. Half those programs are from elsewhere in the world.
Yeah.
Most of it's Māori.
I feel like I see on those shows or like late night TV, there's more Kiwi TV shows, even Australian. Australia doesn't have like, apart from the usual 7 o'clock soaps. Yeah, it's not too much.
No, I think it could be done better. One of the challenges is the language and the different languages in different countries, the different lands, but it's not impossible. Why can't a local radio station say "mama" when they finish their conversation? They don't. In an agreement with "mama," why can't they say "good morning" in Larrakia language?
In what? Oh, I mean, it's the footy in that they always have like Womanjika. In Melbourne, they have Womanjika. They have lots of things in Melbourne. It's a bit more like that now. I feel like the way they do it is a bit woke and pushed on. It's not like but I don't know. I love in Darwin a lot of it's a lot more casual in Darwin. This camera's on, I guess. In my in my work shirt, we have the Indigenous like prints and logos, and a lot of businesses here have an Indigenous print and logo, and it's a lot more celebrated. There's no Indigenous representation in Melbourne. I didn't meet barely any. If I did, they were, I've got a dark skin complexion. So you're not going to, you know what I mean? Versus down, obviously a lot more here. I'm in New Zealand, you're meeting there's a lot more, it's not as whitewashed as Australia's. Getting very political saying, whitewashed. I would say it's getting another color wash and another different kind of wash in Australia. But it is what it is. Like I said before, every country was made from invasion and something else. So I guess it is what it is. But believe they understood the governments. But I love that Indigenous representation in clothes. And there's a lot more of that sort of stuff now. I don't know if there's just there's Indigenous make up 3% of the population, so there's not going to be the need for having it on TV and that sort of stuff.
There's never been a need.
No, I don't know if that's the right word, but TV companies, they're not going to spend the money on stuff that they're not going to make money from. So why would they?
The difference in New Zealand is public legislation.
Yeah.
We protested that in the 70s and the 80s. Yeah, it should be.
Even what was that chick's name in Parliament recently that got up and screamed and they did the hard and they're like,
I don't know her name.
But it's too hard to pronounce anyway. But for me, I like even if I did know it, I couldn't. But they went nuts in Parliament that we're not fucking standing for this shit. Yeah. And then everyone around the world saw it and it was awesome. Where Australia, we don't have that representation.
Well, I grew up during the period of retaliation. It was not often was it hostile. Mostly it was just a march or a protest. Very rarely did we get the Springbok tour in New Zealand. That's when I read a lot of racing.
Oh, really?
In the like cricket tour, Springboks came over.
And while they still had apartheid.
Yeah. And we're like, why are they coming here? And if you get them here, there's racist bastards. What do they say about you, government? Yeah, it says everything you've done to us for the last 150 years.
You're saying
so that's when I saw protests. And it was boycotted for that season. Like, I felt sorry for the players. I didn't understand it, but I realized, sitting with my dad in 1982, watch or 3, whatever year it was, Hank, I don't watch cricket. I said, that's because of racism, mate. That's when they get racist.
Yeah, right.
I felt bits and pieces of it before, like Mrs. McCluskey. I see Dad. He pulls the cortina out to get the mat to Zephyr. To get the broken car. As your auntie, she still got that machete. She's telling this to a 4-year-old.
I mean, I'm from Frankston, so you could have just been saying that about any wife down there as well.
Again, I thought before I moved to Melbourne and heard about Frankston, I thought that, if I ever started having to play people. I have lived a privileged life. Like I really have. Like I've lived in nice homes. My mum and dad were always fed, clothed, warm, sheltered. I just thought that what I saw on television was what real people met. So maybe that's when we had the lovely house in Melbourne. I had the lovely partner in the house and the 4 bedrooms and just sitting in bed. I just didn't hate it. And then that doesn't make you work on your relationship with your partner. Or here's the big thing. The big kicker was that our psychologist eventually had to ram home to us. Maybe this you and him don't want.
If you're open to it, though, I think when you say, oh yes, all the new possessions, all the big things, I was like, oh, more distractions, more things that can not make us, oh, this is good. Like I'm happy now because I have this, rather than if you had nothing, you're stuck. Like with what you said, with your dad about not having the fire anymore, he's stuck with his own shit.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have all the beautiful things to distract you outside, you have to work on your shit.
I don't know. I don't think it was that. What I think it is that it's actually the other thing. The more I have and the finer things I have, and the more that we look amazing, the more you'll like me. It was that Russian equation, which I didn't think that people liking me for who I was, or who I was pretending to be, was what I thought would get people to like me. And then I thought it would, some crazy thing where I thought, I'm just going to make us this couple be amazing. And all it did was just provide this facade over something very sad. And when the sadness took over, then the facade crumbled. And suddenly I was living in a shared house. I was like, that's not for the share. I mean, this isn't, but like I was living, like I lived alone with one gay man. And this give me I'll give you a demonstration of what it looks like in a gay person's house. That is festive so cleaning, both of us. We walked into the house, you could see that almost like a good, every little bit of crumb that might have been on the granite bench top as you walked into the apartment in Walnut. No, there was never a crumb on that bench top because that's how we cleaned it. But if there was, how did you do it?
Yeah.
That is the version of fastidious, ridiculous life that with gay life that we got into. That stuff became important, not how you're feeling today. We'd like to have a chat. And what the psychologist said, which is very important in the end, way too late, was couples that work out well, I think I mentioned this the other day, work out well, have a cards on the table moment, and it's once a year, and say, put everything on the table. And the risk is the relationship ending. If it's still meant to be or still can work, or you can figure out skill sets to use to be able to make it work, then great, go to the next year, and so on and so on. But the couples that don't want to touch that are the couples that are scared of breaking up. And I was scared of breaking up. No, but
They know there's cracks they don't want to.
well, if I told the truth, I've cheated on you 17 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you be open to sharing the story you told me about after when you were at Nightcliff and that was still the person that you called and then you said, was it someone you spoke to and you learned how to have the conversation? You said, I just need you to come and hear me.
Yes.
That moment. Would you be able to share that?
That was like the moment that everything I paid to my psychologist meant good money. I didn't pay for the government. But I thank you, NTG. But he had said to me that people just you can't expect people to know what you need from them.
Yeah.
That just is unfair. And so why not tell them what you need and ask them if they can do it or be prepared to do it for you. In the moment that I needed Paul's help, he messaged me, you get those messages from the Are You Okay organization? At the moment that I was trying to drive off that cliff, I got this message from Paul, which said, Are you okay? And I said, well, this is just Tommy from the Are You Okay organization, but it was Paul. And I messaged back when I knew it was Paul and said, no, He said, where are you? I said, I'm at Nightcliff Jetty trying to figure out how to drive off this cliff. And he said, wait, I'll be there in 20 minutes. And when he got there, I was still lost in my head. And he said, which he opened up the conversation and I just really took his lead. He said, what do you need from me? It's a really simple but clever tool for anybody that wants to truly listen or help. They say, what do you need from me? And then also forces the person that needs help to be specific if they're willing to be. And I said, And I brought back to my psychology who said, tell them what you need. Time it. Say, I need this amount of time, and tell them what you need them to do. Now, Paul is a particular human that is easily distracted by frightened surroundings. A car, an iPhone watch, iWatch, and the lights in the dash. It's like that bird, him, everything, Michael Jetty in general. And I knew that about him. So why not say to him what I needed and ask if that would be possible. So I said, I didn't start off well. I said, I need you to shut the fuck up for 20 minutes. I wanted 20 minutes of his time to talk about 18 years of knowing, 20 years of knowing this person at this point and why I was there. And in that period of time, I'd like you to look straight into my eyes, which you'd never done in the entire time we were together. And when you don't look into someone's eyes, they're not listening to you. At least in my head, they're not listening to you. You're looking in your eyes, they're listening to me. I said, look in my eyes for 20 minutes and not say anything. And I'd like you to not be distracted by anything. Not iPhone, not dashboard, not car, nothing. I want you to look into my eyes for 20 minutes and only blink to rest your eyes. And then, you don't have to, but I'd love it to be you. I'm pretty sure the love it to be you thing made it was like the deal clincher. But no, it's clever wording, but it's also true. I of any person in the world, he was the closest to you, like even under the been told, wanted it to be him. But I realized at that moment that he didn't have to do it. He never did in our entire relationship. It wasn't his job to fix me or to hear me out. We just assumed in a relationship that would happen. Like it doesn't. That's not coming. Maybe if that's on. Okay.
It's charging, so.
It doesn't happen naturally because it's a skill. Also, you grow up in your own sets of how you deal with others. You get off your friends and your parents, your culture sometimes. So, and this is what he said. Okay. And for the first time in the 20 years that I've known that man, he shut my fuck up. And he listened and he looked into my eyes. And that's why at that particular time, I was sober for a year and a half after that. And he was the person that got me sober. Because he listened. And often when I'm in moments of darkness, it's the people that don't judge me, but listen. They don't have to put up with my shit. Because that's not fair. And if this is too much, as you did it again last time, and I needed to change the story. At least if I'm going to listen to you, I do need some of that to change so I don't get hurt. So there's no, but just to ask for the gift of being listened, there's no expectation. I don't expect anyone to listen to you. But if I can ask them, if I say yes, and I'm specific about what I need, and I say, I understand the tips, and I shut up within 20 minutes. I stuck to my deal.
Contract.
Yeah, it's a contract. And what I realized after that with Paul at the particular time is that everything should be a negotiation. There's no time in that relationship, maybe the odds for a small thing, but in general, every day should be an ask. Do you mind going to the shops? Not, hey, when you go, can you go to the shops and do this? Now you might have a but that's fine. But if you know that pisses him off, then say, can you do something for me? You don't have to. Would you please go down to the corner store and get me a partner? Then I'll get it if you can't do it. They don't have to go to the shop for you. Even if they're your husband, wife, been together for 30 years. If you've developed a love language that says that without having to say that, good. But I expected it. And he expected it of me, that I would just do shit. That I would just be. I would show true fidelity. because that was what that you expected. We should have that conversation. So, but the sort of conversations also don't make any like it's just bullshit. Have the actual conversation and say, these are what we agreed to, and be willing to negotiate those and renegotiate those. But expecting someone to do stuff for you just because you expended it is unkind. It doesn't work. Because someone will lose. And relationships are about winning, or at least winning separately. Winning together.
Sure.
Winning together. If you're trying to win and make someone a loser in the relationship, good luck to you.
Yeah.
Good luck to you. So I now don't, and I think I treat other humans that way too. I don't expect anybody to do anything for me ever. But I says, well, do you mind, or would you mind? When I ask, please say no. And I do not ask for help. I've been crook for 3 days.
I can't ask for other people.
Why?
Because I have had the pattern shown to me that I can't receive help, or I get let down when I ask for help. It's not there. I'm not supported when I need it. And it keeps getting reaffirmed and reaffirmed. When I reach out, I'm let down. I'll be there for you. I'll be there. And then they don't show up. So now I don't ask, I just do it myself. Yeah. But I'll always be there to help someone. So when I was lying naked, it's my friend's backyard tanning yesterday, and Jack said, "Oh, hey, I need a hand getting this concrete table up." I was like, yep. I'll call you 20 minutes. I'll be on my way. Because I know how much I would appreciate that help when I ask for it. Yes. And I'll keep doing it for other people. And I know that I shouldn't expect other people to. Because it is what it is. There are other people I can't control them. But I'll keep leading with love, and I'll keep leading with what I believe to be right. And then if other people don't do it for me, fine. But I'll keep doing it because that's what I would want. Treat people the way you want to be treated. That's what my mum always told me, then that's what I'll keep doing.
Are you the person do you have friends that could call you any time of the day, 24 hours a day?
I had a mate call me.
Are you that person?
Yeah, I had a mate call me at midnight. He said, I need your help. I need you to come over. I was like, I'll be there. Yeah, I'll come. And he did not need to call me to be there, but I was there because I didn't know what was going on, and he asked for my help, so I helped him.
I got a call from a very lovely leader of this community. Well, we could go holding her eyes up. So then I was to call, and we have not had an like deep friendship.
Yeah.
I just know that it's you. I says, so I'm so sorry. So no, don't say sorry. You come to the right space and you take your time. I'm just going to be there. When you're ready to talk, just cry. I'm sitting on the couch and I'm just awake. So the conversation worked for you.
Yeah.
It says, because I would love someone to do that for me, but I will never ask and I'll never make.
Oh, yeah. I was the same. We were there a couple of hours having a really good chat. Like when the conversation was needed. I didn't need to leave home at midnight to have the conversation, but it was a really good chat and the stuff worked from it. But yeah.
So I don't believe that there's a me. Do you believe that there's a you out there that will do that for you?
Oh, I think I could ask him to do that.
That's right.
Yeah. I reckon I could. I think based on my past experience, I'm still like, I don't know if he would. But that's like, I still have faith that person would do that for me, for sure.
For Christmas night, I was at a comedian's picnic at Kelly and her family, beautiful day. And I went home at like 6:30, got home, swaying me as far. And I went through my Facebook teledex.
What's that?
Facebook. Friends.
Oh,
And teletext is an old mechanism. There's no camera. An old mechanism of like keeping people's phone numbers.
oh, that's the old spinny thing in it. Yeah. Yeah.
And I did not have the balls or see anyone in that list that I could trust to not feel that down. Now that's not fair on certain people in the list as I think about it now. They might put up on that. But the milligram, microgram, nanogram of chance that it could be.
Yeah.
That to me is ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like, oh, they might. But it's easier to not do it than put yourself out there and then get rejected.
Right.
It's easy just to assume it.
I didn't think of that as you.
Yeah.
It would be you.
Yeah. Again, being single, it's a hell of a lot easier to not put yourself out there than put yourself out there and get heartbreaking.
I wish I was running this podcast now. So many questions. I have to go.
Yeah.
What time is it?
Nearly 9.
Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
How are you going to edit this shit down?
AI, baby. It's going to be a pain because I will ask you to set it
I don't even know if that's going.
if it's working. But yeah, we'll figure it out. The sound's recorded internally. So
You bloody bring out some. I don't know. I know I felt comfortable. I felt comfortable talking about anything to anybody these days, but I wasn't going to answer that something like that. Feel free to post that shit. I don't care.
I won't clip it. I won't put it on socials. But if people want to get the whole way through
Yeah,
the podcast, it'll be there.
Yeah, I mean, I think I didn't say any of that to hurt my father, but I said all of it to be truthful. And you asked the question about whether I want to find the moment. Yeah, maybe it's gone. The moment's gone. And it can't come from me anymore. Narcissism is a whole different podcast.
Yeah.
You know that.
I think a lot of people would want to jump on and have their opinion on it too. I think it's like it's a very big conversation.
I mean, make
we've
that
all
a
dealt with.
section of your posts about narcissism particularly. I mean, my
Well,
views on it are mine. But
I think it's a great conversation for Men Over Matter when we have those cafe chats. So
yeah.
generally we, when we do the walk, we actually stop and pose questions and talk on it. But it was very flowing. Like we were having a great chat. I'm like, I'm not going to interrupt our conversation to then go, hey group, what do you think about this topic? I was like, well, let's just keep chatting because it's a good chat.
Yeah.
But generally there's like, we can talk about that because a lot of men may be unconscious in their narcissistic traits, but when brought up, it might illuminate that in you and go, oh, I display some of those traits, and we can talk about how it works.
I just feel like narcissism is the worst form of love. It's so done in. I know my dad's funny, and he feels let down by so much in his life, including cancer taking my mother's life. That this is what he has left. When actually he has the ability to be kind, generous, shut the fuck up, and his children and his grandchildren come visit.
Well, yeah, my opinion on narcissism is using that, however negative it is and however negative it makes other people feel. It's controlling your surroundings. It's probably, I don't know much about his childhood.
No, you're right.
But being a child in general, if you grow up in a place where there's trauma around, you want to be able to control your environment. If you're moving around all the time, you go, fuck, I don't know where to be next and be here and here. At least I can control the people around me in my home. That's going to make, as fucked up as it sounds, him safe. Because he's in it. Yeah.
I agree with you. It is, I mean, I see the dirty side of that control because it, like me and my brothers and the family and his grandchildren they receive that, the unkind part of that. But I see your point.
And people would probably see him as a very warm and charming person because
everybody outside our family, because he's an entertainer.
Yeah, and also like a narcissist who controls their environment. So for you, it doesn't matter because he's put you in the home.
So to you, will treat you way different to me. But, hey, very nice to meet you. To me, boy.
Yeah.
If you, let's just say you were gay, he'd embrace you. You say, turn his brother gay. So there's a lot. So he narcissist though. I see your points, but the way that they treat the people that they know they can get away with it with, like family, and then the way they turn around and like my dad performs in front of an audience and then oh, your dad's so nice.
Yeah, but that, like from this is my own perspective on how I'm looking at it, but he can treat you like shit and be narcissistic in a negative aspect to keep you small because he's your dad, and then he can control you. As long as you're that little kid, he owns you. For a stage, he needs to keep them happy so they keep coming back. So when you're controlling your own household,
when I get out of it, it gets up. The love.
Yeah, feel superior.
Same reason, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think yes, but also it's a great feeling when people are.
I mean, for you, like
for both of us.
If you bite back, he knows I've got him. Yeah, he's mine.
No. Like his version of performance and the love he gets that. It is a good love. And I see that there's a good part of that high. And I don't know, he performs now to be relevant. He's a 7-year-old man.
So, yeah.
So he performs to be relevant. And that is another aspect of life. At 70, what are we here for? People don't care about an old fucker anymore. Even I have tendencies, even though I'm fucking 50, who gives a shit. When it comes to dating, friendships, performance, girls.
Bro, I feel like that at 30, not the gout part, but
Fuck.
it's definitely, dude, no, like, bro, you should see the matches, or like the likes, I should say, because you can't see the names, the photos we scroll through. I see the ages. I don't know if I'm giving off dad vibes, but it's mostly women older than me, like 30, like 30s, 40s. I'm like, where the fuck are the young girls that I actually want to date at? It's crazy.
I only pick up younger people.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's the plan. But from what from what I'm getting, the offers that are coming up, that's why I'm like, I'm paying to see who this 37-year-old woman is. The last year, like, I want to date a 25-year-old.
That so restricted because I went down with my guitarist to do Purple Plastic Moldy in Adelaide. We're staying in the same apartment. Anyway, by this stage, I brought 3 people home already. And he goes, "What the fuck are you doing this?" I said, "I know that I'm not the best looking person, but I'm not ugly." And he goes, "And look at you." And he says, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, haven't you got a root yet?" He goes, "Yeah, language. You've got a root yet?" We've been in Adelaide for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Adelaide. And he goes, "No, like I just get so far and then I'm tender." Well, then, look, you've got a big dick. He said, "How do you know? Seen you in shorts. So, have you sent a pic? You can't send dick pics and Tinder." So, not the women.
I don't know if women are as receptive to those as to be fair.
But I'm like, I says, "What are you doing wrong, bro?" Because he's a good looking guy. He's also got a twin brother. And a mustache. So like, I'm like, and like, can't you describe yourself? And anyway, he says, anyway, so 1 whole month we were there. Not a single fucking up. By this stage, he'd met Joe, Jeremy, Tony, and Dave.
Oh, he's gay?
No, my friends.
I was like, oh.
He'd met my...
righto.
I said, "You just had 4 people here in the last 3 weeks." And going, "Yeah, all right."
I know, I knocked a few back from.
And he goes, "And what was that one that stayed here for 3 days?" "What do you mean that one? How long was that?" "I don't know. Give me a license." Anyway, I said, "Well, what are you doing wrong?" He said, "I don't know." He says, "Well," he said, "Well, what about this grinder thing?" I said, "Oh, you fucking stay off that.
Yeah.
It'll light up like a fucking Christmas tree.
Yeah.
I'll wreck you. Just don't get on that thing. Please don't get on that. It's Adelaide."
Yeah. Well, you're also a performer. It's probably a lot easier for you to put yourself out there and talk to people where he maybe doesn't have game. Each other.
You know what? It was actually about, there were moments when I just say to myself, what if you did what you're supposed to? Which is just be okay with you. 2 things. I actually find younger people have something that we've forgotten. Hope. And the other thing is, there's this big culture of younger people that want some sense of security. So don't get from their own.
Safe masculine.
Yeah. I remember going on a date last because Jarvis witnessed them. I met this guy. So anyway, I met this guy at a cruise lounge in Christchurch and I was 21. And this was my clandestine life. So I went from work to getting in a nightclub and I go straight to the cruise lounge at 4 o'clock in the morning and go to church the next day after doing it. Keep all those lives together. Anyway, met this guy at this cruise lounge. And he said, "I know something I really like you." He said, "Why would you say that? I really like you." I don't know, just in case you're interested. Sorry, just, so can I give you this fucking phone number? I said, "I hope I'm in love." They didn't ring. And my mum went, what I did. And so he rang and I answered, fuck. And we went on a date. And this guy was way too old for me. He was like 40. It's 42. He was beautiful. He was a good looking man and a beautiful man. And he said to me, he said, "I'm going to Mardi Gras next month. What shit?" So I was like, like, it was a beautiful date. And when I got back to this place, I just thought this old man was too old for me. But he wasn't. it's just like worked in my head as
Yeah.
being successful. So like someone said to me, like, isn't it wrong to date someone after? I said, you know what? It's wrong to date someone who's involved,
Mm.
no matter what each other,
Yeah.
and to play on that. Oh, that stopped recording.
Oh, that's all right.